All right, so if you have IBS, you're probably sick and tired of dealing with the bloating, the cramps, and the frequent runs to the bathroom that come every time you have anxiety. Plus, you're already dreading your next meal, and the anxiety of that is definitely not helping. So you probably feel a little bit out of control. I get it. Well, trust me, the stress and anguish doesn't have to keep controlling your life, and it's easier than you might think. In fact, I've outlined it all in 3 easy steps, so let me explain how it works. It all comes down to realizing that the basic nature of stress is both positive and negative, and both are basically going to impact our health. Whereas positive stress can help us grow and develop, as seen with things like exercise, where it helps build strength and conditioning. And then you have negative stress, which can cause health issues, like stressing over your ability to get to work just kind of has an impact on our ability to, have energy throughout the day and will affect our mindset. So in the end, you have to remember that the human body can only handle so much stress. And then positive and negative stressors can both add into the capacity to be overwhelmed. So think of yourself as a bucket filled with water. Whereas fun things and joy fill that bucket up with water, and stressors will empty that bucket out. And you can start to imagine what happens when that bucket runs dry, right? Like, it might be when you emotionally burn out at work or at school, or when you overreact to something finally and say something stupid, or even when you develop injuries or chronic health issues like IBS and all the pain that comes along with that. So now think about that bucket as if it was totally full and overflowing. And what does that look like for you? So this is what we really want, right? We want to achieve that state. So how do we keep our stress buckets full and most definitely from emptying out all the way? Well, it all starts with a simple process that I designed called assess, avoid, adjust. Assess stands for the simple act of evaluating the overall impact that certain things have on your stress bucket. Like, seriously, just think about the things that you do every day, things that you consume like food or information, and the people that you interact with on a regular basis. Which of them is actually adding water to your bucket, and which of them are pouring water out? And of course, if you want to go this far, you can ask yourself, are any of them acting like a hole in the bottom of my bucket that keep me from ever feeling filled up at all? Like toxic relationships or complete soul-draining jobs. So you can make a list with 2 rows, one for the fillers and one for the drainers, and then put it aside. And then we move on to step 2, which is avoid. Now, avoid stands for avoiding the drainers that simply don't have any real necessity in your life. So for many people, this is like the overconsumption of coffee and cutting that out, or watching the news while they work all day, which really just isn't helping, or being on social media too much, or even just taking on too many projects at work, like those kinds of things. You want to cut those out, right? And so you just want to simply learn how you can turn this opportunity for avoiding stressors into adding things that are going to fill your bucket up, things that are fun, like seeing your family more instead of going out to the bars and drinking on the weekends every single weekend, or maybe investing into a creative hobby like, painting or learning an instrument instead of watching Netflix every single night. Now, the third step is adjust. Adjust stands for the act of accepting what or who is a drainer, but is out of your control and is essential and unavoidable. Therefore, adjusting how you work them into your life so that you reduce your exposure to them as much as possible. So this might mean taking more study breaks before an exam, or taking more days off at the gym. It might even mean pacing yourself with coffee and drinking only what you absolutely need, watching the news for 20 minutes maximum per day instead of hours on end, etc. So yeah, ask yourself, what is the most appropriate exposure to these drainers that doesn't empty your bucket and allows it to keep filling you up? So I hope you can see the importance of following a step-by-step approach, especially when it comes to managing stress, which is why I'm inviting you to check out my website where you can actually take a free quiz that I call the root cause quiz to assess the root causes of your IBS and learn how to address each individual issue in a step-by-step process. It's completely free and zero hassle, so click the link below and check it out. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I hope to hear from you soon.